Fish Tank, talk to me. Talk to me.
It went well in the conference room.
It went well in the conference room. I was only in this room, and then there were some people in that room.
And it went even better in the incubator space.
Wow. What's it mean? What do you mean it went well?
There were no
Talk
Speak loud so
louder.
I can hear you. There were no what?
There wasn't nobody stopped in the middle of that pitch and blanked out. Everybody got through it. Actually, I was one that messed up the most.
I don't know about that. You might feel that way, but I don't feel that way. So nobody stopped in the middle of their pitch. Everybody kept going. Who here messed up at some point during their pitch? But you just kept going. Fantastic. Love it. All right, so nobody messed up to the point where they said, I got to stop, and then they got to redo their pitch. All right, so what else? Rashawn says it went well. You don't have to say it went well.
You were all there.
You were all there. I'm going to hear from
One of you.
everybody. Talk to me about your experience.
They gave more feedback and suggestions more than they did questions.
So they had more feedback than they had suggestions. Okay? Why do you think that is?
Because before this started, you said that, they're more nervous for us than they are, to bash on us. So I feel that they were more courteous towards helping and seeing us do better than to...
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely they are. They want you to do well. So they wanted to give you feedback probably. But I might suggest that we didn't present a whole lot yesterday. Very baseline sort of problem solution. Where we're about to go, which is the numbers and the real sort of nitty gritty of the plan, you'll probably start to see a lot more questions. There's a lot more things, I would say a lot more vulnerabilities, things that they can ask and pick apart and look into and really test for the sustainability and where you're going. So you're right, it was a lot of feedback. I think they, not so much were going easy, but they wanted to give you feedback because it was this first time through rather than really dig in for questions. That will change, I promise. Okay, nice. What else? Oh, actually, that's right. It was just you guys that went yesterday, right? Just Vashon and Sean. Just the Vashons and Vashons. That's it.
Felt they asked you a lot of questions or questions you weren't sure how to answer. Anybody?
And Sean's going to try to fill the gap for us. Go ahead.
a couple questions that they asked, I had a certain answer, but I was my head kind of just fluttered outwards and said the wrong choices, or it said the wrong things. I knew what I wanted to say, but some of the questions I just got nerve-wracked, but trying to correct myself and think of some of the questions on the spot was pretty difficult, and I feel that something I have to kind of work on.
I think everybody did, from what I saw, everybody did a really good job at answering questions that they didn't know the answer to necessarily, in terms of just kind of deferring the question efficient. If they genuinely didn't know the answer, just being not trying to make something up on the spot and just being I can get back to you on that.
Right. Yeah, great. So if you don't know, and if you really don't know,
don't pretend you did.
Don't pretend you do,
Yeah.
and get back to you. So this is a good point, and so I want to hear from somebody that we haven't heard from, but this is a good point in that when you're getting asked questions, the whole experience up there is somewhat nerve-wracking. The more that it progresses through, the more you realize, okay, I'm in this, I'm doing it, it gets less nervous. But when they ask you questions, there's a great amount of vulnerability around, I don't know what they're going to ask me. I know what I prepared, my 3 minutes, my 5 minutes, my 8 minutes. That's on you. That goes back to our quote today, perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice, but if you practice all the wrong things, you're just going to get really good at practicing all the wrong things, right? So you've been able to practice for that 3, 5, 8 minutes, but then you get to the questions and it gets nerve-wracking. So this is the most obvious answer, don't overthink it. What do you have to do when they are asking you questions? When someone's asking you a question, what's the number one thing you got to remind yourself to do?
Answer the question.
Listen.
Answer the question after you've listened. You've really got to actively be listening, right? And so you're right. You got to answer. You have to answer the question, not answer the question you think they asked you, but in order to make sure that you really understand their question, sometimes they'll start speaking and halfway in you'll be like, oh right, they're asking a question and I didn't hear the first half of that question. If that happens, what do?
Ask them to clarify the question.
Clarify, repeat, right? It's okay. Can you please rephrase that question? Can you ask that question? Do you think maybe you could ask that question in a different way? But you've really got to be actively listening. Nothing is worse than answering a question that you didn't get asked. It just shows why. Why do you think that is?
Shows you're not.
Hold on. Somebody else.
I'm paying attention.
You're not paying attention, so that's number one. And what does that mean? If you're not paying attention to me right now, how do I feel?
I'm not interested.
You're not interested, you don't really care what I have to say, right? So it kind of feels insulting. Is this person paying attention to me, right? So that's a big deal. Okay, what else? Debrief. Come on, you all had the experience. Tell me what you felt really proud about. Like what you feel really good about. Who walked away going, oh my God, I did that.
I actually did better than I expected.
Okay, you did better than you expected. How did that feel? What did that look like? What does better than you expected look like?
Because when I did during my pitch and my slides, I was just like, where am I going to mess up? I'm just like, sorry. I'm like thinking what parts I'm going to mess up and like if they're ever going to notice it.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, like, they never heard my thing before, so I got to keep calm and just keep on going.
Nice. It's a great thing to remind yourself. They've never heard your pitch before. Never. First time, right? Okay. So you felt like you did better. You went through, you got through, you didn't mess up maybe at the places that you did, or even if you did mess up, the big thing is maybe you just kept going, right? What else? Yeah.
I answered all their questions. Like there was no ones that I had to think about. I was able to answer them all properly, and that they were satisfied.
Okay. Is that your opinion or their opinion? Have you talked to them? Do you know you answered them all right?
Yeah, they pulled me back and told me they also said I had eye contact and stuff, and they also said I was able to answer all the questions.
Great. So you had good eye contact. Yeah, they did come up to you and tell you that. It went a long way. And then the other thing that I'll say is, you're right. They came up to you afterwards and said you did a nice job answering those questions. They're the ones that judge whether or not you answered their questions right or wrong or indifferent or they wanted something else. So great. And I do remember you started us off, and I was impressed in the ability to talk through this stuff. Here's one thing that I'll say for Gabriel. It's one thing that I've said to debut. It's really, and I'll say to anybody who's sort of already running their business, it becomes a lot easier to answer questions when you're pulling from experiences rather than, oh, I think it's going to be like this. Same with you, Ricky, right? Like you can really talk about the things that you're doing because you just go back into the brain bank and think about your memories, right? It's harder when you don't have them. So I would say yes. And what I would want everybody to do, the reason I bring that up, is as we move through the class, start your cooking, you're able to answer that stuff. The more you can do for your business to actually bring your product or service or test it, you'll be able to think back to that experience and answer the question from experience rather than what you think is going to be happening. What else?
I feel like the food made a huge difference.
Yeah? You think so? You think feeding people delicious food right before they go and judge you help?
Yeah.
I think you might be right. Who here felt that their product made a big difference? Bringing something in. So yes. Did you feel like it made a difference?
A little bit because they got a card, so
Yep.
I felt like, yeah.
Ricky, what do you think? Made a difference? No?
A little bit.
Little bit? You spent a good amount of time talking through the different pictures and pieces that I forgot to put in, right? Yeah, and I think that helped. I think that lends some credibility. Absolutely.
But what was your comment afterwards? You felt the judges didn't believe. You're in the other room, you're like, I don't think the judges even believed that I made those.
Oh yeah, they were. I don't know, the way they looked at me. I feel like they didn't think I made those pieces of it.
Yeah?
And then when I showed them the ring, I feel like they looked at it, but they didn't really believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What could you do to change their minds about that?
I could record a video of me doing this stuff.
You can start with a 30-second video of you in the shop, right? I would probably have some molten hot metal somewhere in that video.
Yeah.
Some pretty hot metal that looks pretty dangerous so that they get the point, right?
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do. I don't know what you wear for protective gear or anything, I would have it all on. I would be, and then at the end, look through, right? All right, what else? Who here got a result other than the result they thought they were going to get? And what are you going to do about it? Yeah, Brian.
I thought I wasn't gonna bite my tongue this time while saying my pitch, but I bit my tongue again.
You bit your tongue?
Again.
How so? Like, what do you mean, bit your
Like
tongue?
while I was talking, I bit my tongue and I started talking while I was still biting my tongue, so it sounded weird.
Okay.
But I kept going.
Okay. So you noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know what to tell you about that. I really don't know. All right. What else?
The judges weren't really clear, like by my pitch, I didn't really make it clear enough for them what I was selling. So I need to fix the pitch to make it sound like selling what I'm selling.
They knew you were selling something.
Yeah.
And they responded positively to your sales vibe.
Just
but they
not, didn't know what I was selling.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Right? Who here felt like the judges fully grasped what it is that they were selling and their solution? That's like a half a hand. Talk to me about why that's a half a hand. Especially from a guy who's wearing his product on his body right now.
I think it was Doug. He was like unclear, like he wasn't clear on what. He knew what I was selling, but he didn't see what the point, not what the point of it was, but like what it was doing to help, kind of. Like
Okay.
what it was doing. Yeah.
And did you feel like that was legitimate criticism, or did you feel like he just missed it?
Well, he said that he made a good point that people from the inner city aren't gonna really understand it as much, but I feel like the other two Stevens, they understood it, so I don't know. Maybe it was just going over his head, but.
So what was the good point? So you said he made a good point, or you don't have to tell me to me again, but did you go back and sort of reflect on it and say, here's how maybe I could bring in, so I've got these two Stevens that get what I'm saying, Doug missed it, how do I make sure that they stay with me, but then I can also bring in a person like Doug? Did you think of anything yet, or like what you might do differently?
He told me to promote in different, like have somebody promote my clothes from different areas, like Ward, like have somebody like that's not in the inner city wear my clothes.
Okay.
So that other people that's not in the inner city can understand it.
You buy that?
Not really.
Okay, fair. I mean, it's for you to judge, right? It's for you to judge. All right, what else? This is like a laid-back, lackadaisical crowd over here.
Gabriel, what do you got?
When they asked me how does origami help with anxiety and stress, like I had like statistics, but like before I started presenting, I put the note cards down on my table like over there, and I didn't pick it back up again, so I wasn't able to like retell them that exactly. So I don't think they believe that it actually does. Even though like I did research and stuff as to how it's relaxing the body.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember you gave an example around the stuff that they do in prisons, right? Which I thought was good, right? My challenge would be at that point during that question and answer, we're not generally picking up note cards to like look back through, right? You are sort of got it or you don't. Now, I mean, if there is a stat or something, absolutely go back and get it. But I think you did a nice job of bringing, an actual example of what's been done. Anybody else want to get a word in?
Oh, one of my slides didn't pop up.
One of your slides, and which slide?
Oh, it's my qualifications.
Okay, it's possible that I didn't
What if that it might happen though?
Yeah, but I mean, I still remember what was on it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. By a show of hands, who thinks that we've seen slideshows not work on the stages of regionals? On the stage of nationals?
Nationals. Out of 20,000 kids with only 3 left to present.
It's tough.
In a theater in New York, like.
But you gotta be ready.
Big time. You gotta be ready. You were ready.
One thing that we gotta practice, and you guys gotta remind me, I mean, I think I'll remember, but it was funny, a few people had never used, how many people had not used a slide clicker, a slide advancer before the presentation? My goodness. That's on me, right? That's funny. I took that for granted, right? And I forget that that's actually part of what E360 is. So, questions get asked, you get nervous. You go present, you get nervous. We've seen people just stand up there, just not really truly get what's in their hand and just hold it and just advance every single slide to the end. And we're all watching and they don't see it, and then they just look back and they're like, but that's not, what should I? And everyone's like, you gotta go, right? So getting comfortable, you can come in here and grab one of the clickers and just practice with it. It sounds silly, but it's the real deal. All right, what else? Anything, last words, final thoughts? You laughing at that?
I had to signal her for like 2 slides. I was just like,
Yeah.
I laughed at Ricky at one point because he switched it over to his last slide for the pictures, and then I went to your power slides, and he thought just going back and then going forward again would just pop it up, and I was like,
yeah, you gotta roll with it, right? And the people who have had their slideshows get screwed up and then do their entire presentation without a slideshow, huge opportunity. Because now these people are looking at you like you can turn a big problem into like a way to like absolutely shine and differentiate yourself. People are, oh wow, you really know this stuff. And we've seen it happen. And it's impressive. More impressive than if you have the slides, right? Anybody else? Final thoughts? Bring us home? We got feedback forms for you.
Leah's
Joey
not
can
here?
tell you about, yeah.
Debut. This is for our room because I took notes, so.
Oh,
Kevin,
Jody took notes for your room.
Brian, Marilyn. But all I did was take notes on what your judges were asking you and the feedback they gave you. So we have feedback from your judges here. But here's some things that we saw in our room. You know how close your judges were, right? So student went up, hi, my name's, what's your name? Joe. Next judge, hi, I'm, what's your name? Joe. Because they were still talking so quiet, the second judge still hadn't heard them. And they said their name to the first judge twice and introduced themselves to the second judge. So you gotta be really clear, pronounce. A judge asked a question. The first response was, oh, I already told you that. Oh. So you just made the judge probably sound dumb or stupid, right? Like now they're thinking like, oh, I must be really stupid, I didn't get it. Or they must think I'm stupid because I didn't get it, which doesn't give a good relationship for the end result. Some great things. Kevin started unbuttoning his shirt in the middle of his pitch. Everybody's like, what's going on here? And then he revealed his t-shirt. That was pretty cool.
It took a long time.
Yeah. Brian had a start. I don't know who had a start in this room, but I think it's always hard to be the first person to go. And he did a great job. Just like you guys saw at Babson a couple months ago. Pretty clear and concise. I think they knew what you were doing. Manuel couldn't stop smiling once he started talking about his brother. Like the judges really started more asking him questions about his brother and living with someone with autism than his own business or product. I thought that was cool. Who else was in our room? Debut had his shirt on. They loved his messaging, loved his passion, really understood that it was more about his message than selling t-shirts or hoodies, which was great. James, between fully recovering, like looking up going, oh, that slide's not there, but let me tell you about my qualifications. Like never skipped a beat. Judges had some feedback for him that I remember you being really open to, like, oh, I'll look that up, thank you. Instead of, no, I never heard of that. Like, oh, I'll look that up, thanks. And is that my room? Is that everybody that was in our room? Things I remember. Marilyn, you were in our room. Yes. Same thing, right? As soon as you said, I love dogs, which was like within 30 seconds, you smiled for the rest of your pitch. Like noticeable. So that was great. And they understood and they really got it. One judge is like, I don't know anything about dogs and I think this would be great. Like, I don't know about dogs, I don't want a dog, I don't do dogs. But this totally. So that was our room, and then here's the, from your judges, the feedback. Kevin, Manuel's not here, Marilyn. I always say, what does Thanksgiving have to do with what you guys did the other day? What's Thanksgiving got to do with it? Debut. Anybody know? Think about Thanksgiving. What happens probably within the week before, a couple days before, whoever's doing your big Thanksgiving? They spell your name wrong?
I thought you were.
He's not here. Bashan,
I'm sure he missed them.
Sean. What's Thanksgiving got to do with the other day? Who buys food in your family? You gotta go, whoever does Thanksgiving, right? They gotta go buy all the food, probably a week before, a couple days before. Then they gotta prepare it all, cook it. It's hours of work. And when you sit down at the table, how long do you think you're there? Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20. Then you gotta clean up. That's kind of today, legally. So a lot of preparation to make it good. Ricky is that way. Liam. You might not be able to read all their handwriting. Fair enough. We can help you with that after class. But take a look, see what you think, see if your matches what they talked about. I had one judge tell me, actually it was in this room, they said, I didn't want to be too hard on him, so I wrote my feedback. So you might see things that you didn't hear, right? So, because they don't want to blow you up in front of everybody, but they want you to get better.
Take a second to review those. We do have one more presentation. We'll take a second to review those. Any questions? Need help deciphering any handwriting? Is it solvable? No, I'm sorry. Is it scalable? Is it scalable? Meaning, you know what I mean? So, can you grow it? Like, could you do it with lots of people? So, could you actually make sure, is it economical to actually bring this out to many people?
I don't know.
Just gave me a 2.5 and
Yes, but
I'm just gonna walk over to you.
try.
Yeah. I could give one.
That's fine. I can't decipher what this says.
Describe me? Yeah, sometimes it's tough.
Is strong. Is strong. I'd like to see more skill tracks.
Yes. Uber of clothing. Ready? Good. Gonna go nice and slow and loud and proud. It's gonna be great. Andre's gonna give us his presentation. He was a little bit under the weather on Wednesday, so he came in yesterday, made sure he was all ready, worked with us a little bit, and now you're gonna be his wonderful, beautiful audience. And without further ado, we give you Andre. Who, by the way, is the most excited he's ever been in this particular moment.
Say,
Like to tell.
Bring us home, Andre. Bring us home. Someone show him how to use it. Bashan, you used it.
Supreme, Thrasher, and Beat, some of the top millennial lifestyle brands out there of today. And if you didn't know these brands, it might be because you're not a consumer of lifestyle brands, or maybe because you're not a millennial. But I am, and I know fashion and style. And I think it's time that we add a new name to that list, Fake. Fake was created by a group of millennials hoping to share a bond and create unbreakable friendships on their gaming journey. And now it's here coming to life, producing streetwear items for all of you. Thank you. There aren't enough lifestyle brands out there, and a lot of people's wardrobes are starting to look similar, and we need to help differentiate people with their clothing and help people stop looking quote unquote normal. My business will be adding a lifestyle brand to the market, and I will be helping people differentiate themselves with their clothing. There aren't enough lifestyle brands out there. A lot of people are saying similar fake what, and adding face to the market will add more variety and will help fix that problem by producing clothing for everyone. The clothing I will be producing will be unique, original, and with their own designs and concepts, and I will create clothing for that supports every season and any type of weather, but also stylish. That's it. Thank you.
Stay up there. You got a room full of judges now. Judges, feedback, questions. Channel your inner judge.
What year were you born in? You're not millennial. So I think you should probably fix that. It's not that important, and I think I get it, and everybody kind of gets it, but unless you're born 1999, then you're millennial. You probably hear this a lot, but just speak up a little bit, and you'll be even louder if you look this way. Like, cause your voice wasn't bad, I mean, I'm right here, so I hear you fine, but if you're speaking out, it's gonna be a lot easier to hear you back there. And then just try and look at us a little bit, like I said. Even if you're not looking directly at us, but right above our heads, that's what I always do. Like, I don't look at a specific person, I try and look right above everyone. And then I wouldn't read off of your slides. I would either get no cards or just remember it and practice. But it wasn't that bad, you did good.
Questions? Other feedback?
When you say that you plan on helping them differentiate their clothing, do you mean as far as also the appearance of it and also kind of the construct of clothing? So saying what's one thing to put a logo on a t-shirt, but if someone wants like their jeans hem, or like if they want their jeans distressed, stuff like that.
Wait, so is it custom or is it like?
I'm not about custom.
Towards the end, it was sort of difficult to discern whether or not you were done. I didn't know you were done until you turned around and told us you were done. So I would suggest adding on a qualification slide and maybe trying to find a stronger way to end so that we know you're done giving us your pitch.
At the end of your pitch, you ended it, but afterwards you said thank you, and then you moved on to your slides. So, you weren't done speaking to us, so.
You would conclude your pitch and then transition into your slide now.
But he could have segued it a little bit rather than saying thank you and then like that.
Yeah.
Because like there was a good way he could have like went from his pitch into his first slide.
Final thoughts? Final feedback? Yeah, Jensen.
You didn't capitalize your eyes.
You did not capitalize your eyes, yeah. It's funny, on that note, when I went through and transferred over everybody's presentations, I had to make sure that there was nothing covering or like some of the fonts ran so big. But I remember on yours, one thing that I missed, it said creativity, but a picture went over and it just said creativity. It's a big deal, right? Eyes not capitalized, grammar, punctuation, it's up there. So while you're talking, if someone's a grammar stickler, probably like you are, all they're gonna do is just focus.
Did the judges speak to that?
They actually didn't say
It's
much
on your
about
feedback.
it.
It's on your feedback.
Okay, yeah.
So they wrote about it.
They wrote
They
about it,
see
but
it,
they didn't
they
want to
catch
call
it.
you out, right, in front of everybody. But mistakes on the slide are a big deal because then they think, oh, you're going to make mistakes on your financials. It's like, it's true. It's the real deal. I mean, I'm going to second what Layla said, but you've got to look at us. I mean, you've got to make eye contact with us. Like, I know that you don't love presenting. I know that sometimes the voice doesn't carry, but at the end of the day, you know enough that you've got to make eye contact with us, all right? So next week, we're going to see it with some eye contact. Because, by the way, we're going to continue to see these things, right? So it's not just you that's going to have to go again. We're all going to have to go again. But from now until next week, you're working on looking at us when you're giving these slides, okay?
I didn't get to finish it all because my computer died. I didn't have a charger. I lost my charger.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right, people. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Get your notebooks out. It's going to be fun.
Woo! Numbers.
All right, we're going numbers.
Oh, yeah.
We're going numbers. Slide number 6, business model slide. Before we go numbers, I'm going to do one thing.
I don't get it.
Decimal places.
One thing we always say is numbers tell a story. Can anyone tell a story with the numbers that are up there?
What kind of story?
Hard story to tell?
Dollar, dime, penny.
I just want to make
Yeah.
this, I just want to open this up. A lot of times when we start getting into this stuff, we're going to start working with decimals. When we start working with your gross profits, when we start working with any of the financials, a lot of these things are going to be in decimals, and they're not always going to be in round numbers, right? It might be 0.1357 when we might have to do some rounding. But I just want to bring this up here. A lot of times I find it helpful. So sometimes you'll see 0.1, sometimes you'll see 0.1, 0.1, 10 cents. These, top row, all the same number. All the same number, all the same number. Just different ways of writing the same number, different ways that you're going to see them. But a lot of times, sometimes we get confused if we see 0.1 or 0.01 in these calculations. This is a cent. This is 10 cents. This is $1. I'm a terrible math teacher, okay? So I'm going to have to work with you one-on-one. I'm not going to be able to explain this until we actually get to do it. Once we start doing the math and I start seeing, oh, look, we made a mistake here, an error here. Some people got it. Some people are like, nah, I'm not as comfortable with it, right? So we'll figure that out as we go. But I just want to say, if you see this, oh, look, I wrote the same thing. You'll see this, right? And sometimes you'll be like, oh, that's 10 cents. But then, if you put a dollar sign in front of it, if you do struggle, if you know that you're someone that's like, oh, I get confused between the decimal places, you put a price tag in front of it, you all read price tags all the time. You put a dollar sign in front of it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I know exactly what that is. So when you're in this class, it can be helpful to put a dollar sign in front of it, and then you'll go, oh, that's 10 cents. Like if I saw that on a tag, I would know exactly what it was, but I'm looking at it in a math problem or a math formula right now, and I'm like, is it 0.1 or is it 0.1? Okay. Not a wonderful explanation, but just to say, these are coming. Ask questions if you don't get it when we get going. I need an eraser. Is there an eraser back there? If you would like to turn to slide or the business model slide, we're going to go through that slide because your homework is going to be to run through your business model slide. We're going to go through the math here, some of the terminology. We're going to go through actually how to calculate it, and then we're going to do an activity in which we actually do some of the math and create an EOU and an economics worksheet. So, let's start from the top. This is proverbially what they would say where the rubber meets the road. You said not a lot of questions. Well, here's where the questions come. You're going to present, and the difference between success and like, I got to go back to the drawing board, is do you know your numbers? You will hear this from us all the time. And the numbers begin on the business model slide. And in the Nifty world, you generally don't hear this term outside of the Nifty world, but it's a great term. What we're doing right now, when we say our numbers, is your economics of one unit. And if I asked you, and I've said this before, and I told you that I was going to ask you again, but Marilyn, and you could say, I have absolutely no idea, stop harassing me. If I say economics of one unit, what are your economics of one unit? What am I really asking you? And it's fine to be like, I have no idea. Anybody know? Yeah.
If you're, how much you're making or losing per unit.
Are you making, or how much are you making or losing for every unit that you sell? If I say, what are your economics of one unit? What I'm asking you, what I really want to know, and so I said this before, is are you making or losing money for every unit that you sell? That's what I want to know. If I look at you and I say, what's your EOU, Brian? What do I really want to know? What am I really asking you?
How much I'm making for my unit or how much I'm making.
What?
I can't understand you.
Can't speak that loud. I hurt my throat yesterday.
All right, that was louder than what you just did, so let's go that volume.
How much I'm making per unit or how much I'm losing.
Right. The underlying question that I'm trying to scratch the surface of, are you making money or are you losing money for every unit that you sell? And so to be able to do this, the first thing we need to do, and so follow along, this is heavy note taking, you're going to see all of these things on that slide. The first thing you've got to answer is, what is your unit of sale? Who here's company is going to sell multiple products or multiple services? By a show of hands, who's going to sell multiple products or multiple services? Okay. You have many units of sale. Give me an example, if you can, without having discussed this yet, of a unit of sale in VG Car Care. What's the name of the business today? VG Car Care?
A unit of sale would be a primary package.
A primary package. One primary package detail, which comes with a list of services, okay? Give me another unit of sale.
A premium package.
A premium package. One premium package detail. Give me a unit of sale for you.
Enchiladas.
So one enchilada? How many come on the plate?
On the plate comes about 80.
Oh, 80?
What?
That's a lot.
I mean, one.
One what? Oh, so wait, one. So, but here's the thing, right? So are you a caterer?
I'm a caterer.
So do you charge by the person?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we've got, and so we can figure this out, but you might say, at my catering company, you buy by the tray. And so you can buy a tray of food, one tray of enchiladas that has 80, okay? It might be one person, catering cost for one person. You tell me I'm gonna have 100 people at my event, so I'm gonna sell you 100 individual catering costs for those people. You get to decide what your unit of sale is and how you wanna price your stuff off. That's kind of what this business model slide is all about. The business model meaning, where do you bring your money in? Where does your revenue, your sales come in? And you get to decide what your unit of sale is, what you want to define the thing that you're selling. Give me an example of a unit of sale.
Like a bouquet of roses.
A bouquet of roses. How many come in there?
4.
4. So this is important, right? This is a good segue here. So the unit of sale is, help me out.
EOU.
That's what we're going with. So funny enough, a bouquet of roses, within that unit of sale, there are 4 things, right? So I've got to really be clear about bouquet of roses, 4 roses. if I do a dozen eggs, I can have a unit of sale that has multiple units inside of it. I can do a unit of sale of 10 t-shirts, 10 custom designed t-shirts. I can do a 100-person party. I can do a pair of pants and a shirt together. Probably wouldn't as a unit of sale. You can define your unit of sale any way you would like. What I would suggest, for the Nifty business plan, how many units of sale can you have? How many units of sale do you present to your judges? One. You get to pick one product or one service. One custom design ring, one custom design set of earrings. A lot of variables in that. Well, how big are they? Do they have diamonds? Do they have gold? So how do you pick your unit of sale? How would you pick your unit of sale?
Which one's the best?
Which one's the best? What makes it the best?
Sells the most.
The one that sells the most? Okay, so you might pick your top sale. Great. What were you going to say?
It's the most economic.
Okay, so the one that maybe makes you the most money per unit? What if you got a shirt, you got this special exclusive shirt that it only costs you $37 to make because it's super exclusive, got a lot of good stuff on it, and you sell it for $500, make a huge profit.
Does not.
But then I come to Gabriel's point and I say, well, how many of those can you sell a year?
So your best seller would probably be the...
It's your call. There is no right. You can do bestseller. You can do the most profitable per unit. You can do the thing that your customers are telling you they want most. You get to pick what unit of sale you want to lead with. You would probably want it to show a really good profit and also be a really good seller. Okay?
Let's hear your unit of sale. We'll go just, what's your unit of sale, Giselle?
I don't know yet.
If you had to come up with one right now, what's your hunch of what are you selling? When someone says, I want to do a deal, I would like to become a customer of Watch Week.
So my unit of sale would probably be based on how many students a university has.
Okay, so who's your customer? Are you selling to the university?
Yeah.
And so you go to the university and you say, I'd like to sell you what?
An app.
And how do you buy the app? Is it a subscription? Do you pay, is it an active user? So is it per download? Is it a monthly subscription where you can have 1,000 users on WatchWeek? Is it 500 users on? So like,
it would be a monthly subscription.
So your unit of sale can be a monthly subscription, a monthly university subscription, which is different than a monthly individual subscription. If I just want to get on WatchWeek, it might be $3.99 a month for me to join. If a university wants to join and they want to be able to distribute licenses to all of their kids, all of their students, maybe that package is $899. I have no idea. We can't come up with the price yet because we don't know what it costs. But your unit of sale is subscription.
And a monthly subscription.
A monthly subscription to WatchWeek.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. What's your unit of sale?
I would use my jackets and $35.
Okay. So one Woo-Tag jacket. Okay.
Is your $35 part of your unit of sale?
Yes.
Unit of sale just describes.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you though, and I want you to use the numbers too because the numbers are important. What's your unit of sale?
One Woo-Tag jacket.
Say it like you mean it.
One Woo-Tag jacket.
One Woo-Tag jacket. There it is. All right. What's your unit of sale?
Greeting card? Or
Use a number.
$1?
Nope.
One
One what?
One greeting card.
One
birthday card.
No, one birthday card or one greeting card is fine. I'm totally fine with one greeting card. But you've got to use a number because it could be 3 greeting cards in a pack of 5 greeting cards, right? It's important to use a specific number. All right? Ricky, what do you got?
One custom made rim.
What?
Custom of it?
One custom made rim.
Rim?
Ring.
One custom ring. Gold, silver, what do you think?
Depends which.
Alright. But you're gonna have to make a decision in the president, one custom designed gold ring, right? It's gonna be challenging for the custom stuff. You might change it so that there's a consultation fee. One custom jewelry consultation. Every time I sit down with someone, it costs $75 to have that conversation, and then you can make $1,000 piece or a $5,000 piece, right? But we can get to that because they're gonna pay that cost. What do you got?
One in-home visit.
I can't hear you.
One in-home visit.
One in-home dog visit. Great. Let's pick up the pace. Be thinking what it is. Let's go. I got a lot of stuff we got to do. We got some good stuff. I was lying to you about not having good activities. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What do you got?
One fake shirt.
One what?
Fake shirt.
One fake shirt. What if I want a real shirt? What do you got?
One case.
One what? What case?
Phone case.
One phone case. All right. What do you got?
One
Yeah, that's how it's going.
One premium detail.
What?
One premium detail.
One premium car detail. Brian, what do you got?
I don't know, because YouTube subscription is free, and the blogs to be posting up is also free. So I'm
So
not
where do you
really
make your money?
selling anything.
Advertising.
I'm gonna ad revenue.
Okay. So.
I'm a smart man.
All right. So what do you got?
I have it right here. They say that ads pay usually like $9 to $10, but it also depends how much views and subscribers you have that price will go up. That's why like getting the ad revenue and YouTube thing is like kind of complex.
Let me ask you this. Eventually, do you think you'll do a promoted post? Someone will pay you to post something about their fashion line?
Yeah, I could.
So you definitely have a more challenging one, right? And so we'll sit down around the ad revenue, because how's that a unit of sale? You're not selling that necessarily,
Yeah.
but maybe you could be selling a 15-second spot at the beginning of your videos. So you could run an ad, so one 15-second commercial at the start of a video, okay? That could be one. Or one promoted Instagram post, and you charge $50 for a promoted post. What do you got?
One tray of rice.
One tray of rice. Okay. Thank you for speaking up.
One t-shirt.
One t-shirt.
One cocktail dress.
One cocktail dress.
One t-shirt.
One t-shirt.
One bouquet of roses.
One bouquet of roses with
How many roses?
how many roses?
Four.
Okay, because I'm thinking, I went to you, I thought I was getting 12. I thought I was getting a dozen. All right, so one bouquet of 4 roses.
One t-shirt.
Okay, and we're back. What do you got?
One monthly university subscription.
One monthly university subscription. All right, so that's unit of sale. You have got to now go home and do the hard work of making the decision of what is going to be your unit of sale. And here's what I'll say. When you make your decision of your unit of sale and you come back in on Monday, you can never, ever change your unit of sale again. Who believes me?
I
Of course
super
not.
don't.
Just pick a unit of sale. We'll work on the unit of sale. If you want to change your unit of sale, it will change probably 400 times between now and the time we get to the competition. But you've got to pick something so we can start to test them out. So please do not sit there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Just pick something, do the math, and then it can change. Okay? So that's unit of sale. Now, debut. Here's your time to shine. So here is the formula for the economics of one unit. First, you got to say, here's my unit of sale. And then, this is how we figure, am I making or losing money for every unit that I sell? First, I need to know my price. But I can't know my price until I know a few other things. For instance,
Cost of goods.
Other variables.
okay, there should be a lot of words on this board that you don't know. Who doesn't know some of the words on this board? Great, you're keeping me in business. Okay. COGS. I heard somebody mumble it. Stands for
Cost of goods sold.
cost of goods sold. It's a pretty outdated term to call things, I went to the store and I bought some really good goods. I've got really good goods at that store. But goods meaning cost of goods sold, meaning what is the product or service that you are selling? What does it cost you in terms of ingredients to put it together? I'm going to take a baby step back for a moment. We're going to introduce two types of expenses in this business plan. Variable expenses and fixed expenses. If I was a note-taking person, I'd probably be writing these things down. Variable and fixed. Today, we are only talking about variable expenses. But we've got to know what that means. If I say to Marilyn, well, yeah, you know, but it's kind of variable. It varies. What do I mean?
Why do you keep picking on me?
I don't know. Because I think you got the answers. If I say to you, Andre, yeah, it's variable. I don't know. It varies from time to time. What am I saying to you? It's different. Say it louder.
It's different.
It's different. It changes. What I'm saying is it changes. And here's how variable expenses work. If I do not sell any plates of rice for the entire month of February, do I have any rice expenses?
No.
I have no rice expenses. If I sell 100 trays of rice, do I have rice expenses?
Lots.
Yes.
Lots. If next month I sell 85 plates of rice, do I have to pay for 100 trays of rice?
No.
I paid for the 85. Your variable expenses change from month to month based off of how many units of sale you sell. They vary. But here's the deal. And this is the last thing I'll say about the other thing, which is if Carla cooks her rice inside of a really nice kitchen that she pays $1,000 a month for every month, and she cooks no rice in the month of January, does Carla's really amazing landlord come up there and say, oh, Carla, don't worry about it. I know you didn't cook any rice this month in the kitchen that you owe me $1,000 for, so don't worry, you don't have to pay me the $1,000. If you find that landlord, you give me their number, okay? It's a fixed expense. Every month, it's $1,000, your rent. I don't care if you sold anything or if you sold a ton of things. You're paying me your fixed expense. It's fixed. It's coming every month. You know it's there, and it doesn't matter how many you sold. Your variable expenses from month to month change based off of how well you are doing in your business. The more you sell, the more variable expenses you have. Okay.
Can we add to that?
Yeah, please.
So, you might not be there yet. You have your variable expenses, right? 85 plates of rice. She makes them, somebody buys them. Does she have the rice? Does Carla have the rice at the end of the day?
No.
Does she have rent to pay?
Yes.
Yes.
So variable expenses leave. So in your mind, you should always be thinking, oh, I'm going to put a really nice, bow or tie around these package of 5 cards I'm selling. You got to pay for the packaging because you're never going to get it back. You're never going to get the cards back, the ink back. You're never going to get the t-shirt back, right? You're never going to get your time back. But you'll always have the dog leash. I don't know if you have your own equipment, debut. Probably
Some
not,
of it.
right? Some. You'll always have your equipment, right? Whatever doesn't leave the door when you make a sale, that's fixed, right? It's staying. It's fixed. Variable leaves.
If you use it, you lose it. If you sell it and it's part of your variable, it's going out the door and it's not coming back. That's an important distinction. Now, just to make this a little complicated, your variable expenses change from month to month in total. And they might vary based off of the price of rice from one month to the next, but your cost of goods sold for your unit of sale, that doesn't necessarily vary from month to month. It's just how many you sell is going to determine the total change. So your cost of goods sold, while it's one of your variable expenses, and what it takes into account are the ingredients or the supplies or the materials that it takes to make your product. Now we're going to do, I've got a sheet, a mock donut activity. You're going to design a mock donut and you're going to actually figure out like what it's going to take to make this. So we're going to get to this. So that's when this math is coming. And you're going to figure out like how many sprinkles I'm going to put on there and what a teaspoon of sprinkles costs. We're going to do that math together. So your cost of goods sold are the costs that are directly associated to you making the good that you sell, or the product or the service that you sell. Commission.
Has anyone heard that word? Mm-hmm. What do you think that means, Brian? You're nodding your head.
How much you get off a sale?
How much you get off of a sale? Who's you?
Well, the salesman.
The salesperson. Right. Okay. So commission is how we pay ourselves. Another word for it that you might think about is labor cost. Okay? In the nifty world, we use commission. But this essentially is putting a value on what? Labor.
Your time.
Your time. This is you getting paid for your time. Everybody is going to have a different idea of what they want to make an hour. And everybody is going to have a different amount of time it takes to make their unit. So I'm not going to go over what your commission is going to be for each of your individual products. It takes you 4 hours maybe to clean a car by yourself for the ultimate package. You've got to get a commission that's in line with your 4 hours. It might take you, too challenging for me to figure that one out. It might take you 15 minutes to do an origami heart. Your commission and your commission are going to be very different, right? So everybody's commissions are going to be different, but I want you to know at this moment, this is you putting a value on your time, and here's the most important thing about this. You are not your business. Let me say this again with a real serious face. Maryland. You are not your business, Kevin. None of you are your business. You have a business bank account and you have Ricky's bank account. You have the business bank account and you have Carla's bank account. When you pay yourself a commission, it goes into Carla's bank account. It goes into Kevin's bank account. This is the money that you use to operate in the world, to do all the wonderful things you want to do. And then the profit, the contribution margin, the gross profit, what's left over is what the business makes, and that goes in the business bank account. This is you paying yourself for the hard work of your business. This is like your salary. This is your check that you go out there and spend, but you have to leave money in the business to pay for fixed expenses, to buy more materials, to make lots of money so that at the end of the year you have $1 million in the bank account of your business, and you can say to somebody, look, my business made $1 million last year. If we continue to do this for the next 5 years, that's $5 million of gross profit. Why don't you buy the business for $4 million off of me right now? And they say, yeah, let's do it. And then you got $4 million, all because you paid attention to this class. You are not your business. This is putting a value on your time. Other variable expenses, packaging, shipping. There are other things that aren't directly tied to that product. You could make the argument, well, the packaging is kind of tied to that product. But these are the direct ingredients for that product, and then this is maybe the shipping cost to get it to where you need it to go. This could be the packaging to put it in the thing that you need to package it in, okay? Once you subtract out your cost of goods sold how much you're getting paid to make and sell that thing, not just to make it, but make it and then sell it, and all the other variable expenses, what you are left with is what Nifty would call contribution margin, and what everybody else in the business world sometimes calls contribution margin, but mostly calls gross profit per unit. EOU, are you making or losing money for every unit that you sell? And when I ask you, what I mean is, what's your gross profit? So let's do this real quick. Debut, $35 is your price. How much does it cost you to have one shirt made?
I'm doing jackets.
What's that?
One jacket.
That's a jacket.
Oh, I'm sorry, jacket. How much does it cost for you to make one jacket? First of all, how much does the jacket cost?
$12.
$12. The jacket's $12, and then you print on it. How much does the printing cost?
$7.
So the printing is $7. Does that include the ink and the materials and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So let's just say that printing costs $6, and that the ink that you print with costs $1, just so you can see us breaking it out to say, there's that service fee in there, but then there's also that material as well. Is there packaging?
No.
Tags, labels, anything like that? No Wuda tag?
Oh, yeah.
No, is there a tag?
It doesn't come with it.
Okay, fair. I'm just checking in. So a jacket, a print, the ink, anything else? You probably might not do this yet. You might not be at that point. But if you were going to take a commission, how much do you usually take? Every time you sell, you put money for your business, and then you take a cut. What's your cut?
From the jacket, it'll be $10.
So from the jacket, it's $10. Great. So your commission is $10. So now, my total variable, sorry that this is a little bit small here, $12 for the jacket.
19.
We're at 19, 29.
$6.
Total variable, 29. What's my gross profit per unit?
$6.
I subtract my 29 from my 35. I'm at $6 per unit. Debut, are you making or losing money for every unit that you sell there?
Your company.
Your company.
Oh, my company is losing money.
Losing money? Your gross profit is $6. After you've paid all of your expenses, you've even paid Debut.
Oh, making money.
How much money are you making?
$6.
$6. Every time Debut sells a jacket, not only does he make $10, not only has he paid for all of his materials, but at the end of that sale, he has $6 left over that goes in the business bank account. That $6, it's not pure profit. That's gross profit. Because then you got to pay your fixed expenses, the things that come monthly. Then you got to pay your taxes. There are lots of expenses that come after gross profit. But this is just to show you, based off of the item that you're selling, the unit of sale, this is the profit that you make.
Who here has a job, or has had a job where they got a paycheck? Is your paycheck match how many hours times the rate of pay they told you they'd give you?
God, no.
No.
Right? So your gross is how much you would make before, Brandon said it, taxes, if you have to pay into Medicare or any of the other state programs, GDI. So there's gross, and then what you end up with at the end of the day is called your net. We're working with gross profit at this point with variable expenses. And I will say, to Debu's point earlier, one of the judges said, why don't you get someone that believes in your mission in Warwick, in Cranston, in North Providence, and have other people selling for you? So his company would still make $6 on every sale, and he would still pay all those people $10 each every time they made a sale, and he'd be sitting at home. So eventually, right, that's the vision of a business owner, is to have lots of people working for you. You're paying them that commission or that labor or that hourly wage, and your company, you own the company, is still making money.
Can you pass that around and don't flip it over? Pass it down, low to the ground. Don't flip it over yet. So just look at the side that's got all the numbers on it, please. That would be very helpful. Because I accidentally put the answer key on the back. So just don't flip it over.
Is this the donut
Why would you
thing?
say that then?
Because I trust you all. That's why I was saying. Because I have an immense amount of trust. Okay. So.
He gave those to you? Is he picking on you?
I'm just picking on. I don't know why. Okay. Here's the deal. Debut.
Yes.
Sorry to pick on you, but you got a functioning, operating, profitable business, so that's really helpful for me. When you buy shirts or jackets, do you buy individual jackets or do you buy packs of jackets or packs of t-shirts?
Individual.
For t-shirts, do you buy them individually as well?
No.
Okay, let's go t-shirts. Make my job easier. When you buy t-shirts, what's the unit of sale for the t-shirts that you buy?
Like one t-shirt? No.
That's your unit of sale, but from the company that you purchased them off of, what size? Do you buy them in like a lot?
It's like 10 t-shirts maybe.
So 10 t-shirts. So the unit of sale for your company is 10 t-shirts, right? So you've got to do a little bit of math to figure out, I know what I can buy 10 t-shirts for, but I've got to figure out what that one t-shirt costs. So we got to do a little bit of division, essentially. And so what you have there on your paper, do you have another one, Marilyn? Are there any left over? Thank you. So, if you were designing a donut and you had $1.65 to spend on that donut, you would maybe go out and buy some frosting. But they don't sell the frosting in little teaspoons, and they say, oh, it's 13 cents for a teaspoon. Oh, perfect. That's exactly how many teaspoons I needed for my recipe. They're going to sell you a jar of it. You're going to have to figure out what a teaspoon costs by doing a little bit of division. And the way we do that division is we say $5.60 for the chocolate frosting, and it came with 35 teaspoons. I divide the money by the units. I divide the money by the units. Not the other way around. If you do it the other way around, it's going to give you the reverse of the answer that you want. I usually like to think about it for those people who are visual out there. If I'm doing Oreos, I like to actually envision, oh wait, I'm trying to figure out, I know that this cost me $5, and I want to know what each individual Oreo is, so I'm breaking them out, trying to get the price per Oreo. If I'm trying to get the price per Oreo, the only way to get this to come out as $1, to come out in terms of dollars and cents, is to divide into the money. I've got to divide into the money. Again, not the math teacher. You remember that. Mark it down. What does a teaspoon of chocolate frosting cost? From somebody I haven't heard from. If I haven't heard your voice, I want to hear your voice. Oh, here's the other thing. Who here has a calculator on them at all times? Everybody has a calculator on them at all times. Even though I'm not that much older than you, I am a bit older than you. And we always didn't have calculators on us when I was in school, but I tried to tell my math teacher, you don't get it. One day, we're always going to have calculators on us. So it is not fair that you are not letting me use my calculator. Use your calculator. You always have a calculator on you. Use the tools that you have. Don't try to be a hero and try to do all the mental math. If you want to do it, great. But you have calculators on you. And if you don't, we have calculators, I think, I might have thrown them out. If you need a calculator, you can borrow my phone. How much?
I have a calculator. Great.
Great. How much does a teaspoon of chocolate frosting cost from someone I haven't heard from? Heard from you, heard from you. I might have actually heard from everybody. Jensley.
16 cents.
16 cents. How'd you do it?
I divided the price and the servings per container.
divided the price by the servings per container, and you got 16 cents. 0.16. You should probably grab your calculators and go down that list and figure out the price per unit of each of those ingredients. Even if you're not going to use that ingredient
That's great.
on that donut.
You got it? You understand?
Anybody need me?
You got it, debut?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back.
Dang. Brandon, you spelled marshmallows wrong.
Congratulations, you can't have any marshmallows.
Why can I have?
Y'all are making a real donut. I don't know if that's going to help you with doing your math a little faster.
It will.
Or having a little bit more of
It is now.
excitement and energy for it.
Don't make you
Wash
happy.
your hands.
Don't make you excited.
I caught that, Jody.
Don't
I
it?
caught that.
Don't it?
So there are no answers on the back side of that sheet. What there are is donut activity in which
Yeah,
I
I
tell
knew
you.
it.
Oh,
I knew
wow.
I knew you wouldn't do
That
that.
was
Sean's
sneaky.
back, Sean's
Well,
back.
yeah, but I figured if I told you.
Yeah,
this
I was
on
like
back,
trying to
you'd
see if
actually
anyone would notice. I was kind of like this. I was like, I wonder if someone.
You're going to set a price. You're going to put a commission. You're actually going to do your gross profit per unit. You're going to do your EOU. And then you are not going to eat your donut until you do a 30-second commercial for us. In which you do the 5 Ps, which you do the slogan. I love that look over there. Someone's very excited, very happy. Yes.
How far do you think like 2 tablespoons of rainbow sprinkles would get one?
You're going to be covered. Covered.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say. You're going to like put a little extra. Put a little extra. You put a little extra in it. You can go a little overboard. You can make it a tablespoon. I don't really care. But I want you designing as if.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
But I don't know.
And
We
then
went in, we were just like screwed. We
how much
just
you
wanted
can sell
to
for, or rather, how much you can sell for.
There was
Cost of
nothing.
goods sold. Commission. This is separate. So you get your commission from that, and you get your gross profit per unit, and you're ready to make.
232.
When can I advertise?
You good?
Yeah.
Where should I be? Where's good for everybody? Right, I'm gonna go right here. Did you know that it only takes $2 to get a delicious
Yeah, don't worry,
Doug
give it up.
Dimmadome's Dimma Donut from the shelf into your stomach? Doug Dimmadome's Dimma Donuts. This is one donut you do not want to mess with.
Wow. Do it again, but hold on. No, no. Do it again and say from the shelf into yourself. Can you do that for me?
Wow, that's a clever one.
Did that donut come here?
All it takes is $2 to get a delicious Doug Dimmadome's Dimma Donut from the shelf into yourself. Doug Dimmadome's Dimma Donuts. One donut you do not want to pass up on.
Alright, who's next? Who's next?
Okay, I present to you this delicious thing that I call the Coconorio. Or I'm gonna call it the Codo Nut, cause a cocoa donut. Alright, but I don't know what was it.
The cocoa what?
The Coconorio.
Coconorio.
Coconorio. What makes my donut unique is that it. Wait, am I supposed to be pitching or?
Yep.
Today I present to you the Coconorio, which is where a milk flavored cookie meets one of the hardest to eat fruits. Right? Coconuts are fruit. And then we put the O. We put the O. Where's my notebook? I'm all over the place. Coconorio puts the O in Oreo and also in coconut and donut. I plan on the price being $2, the product being the Coconorio. The person my market would be breakfast treaters, not breakfast eaters, the ones who look for treats in their breakfast, so we call them breakfast treaters. And I plan to promote my donut at Met Breakfast, and the place I'll be selling it at will be the Met.
Can I buy it?
You want to buy it?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's not against your vegan ways?
You gonna sell it?
Nah, I don't want.
I want to call his bluff. You really gonna take $2 for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coconoro?
Wow.
What is it?
Coconori.
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 I just bought a beautiful donut.
Can I get a picture of it for my snap?
Nope, it's mine. This is my note. You want to buy it back? It's $2.50. You want it back?
Can I get a picture?
Nah, it's 50 cents for a picture.
Alright, we can do that.
All right, give me 50 cents.
Turn that dollar down.
Hey, you know what? It's a buck or a bit.
You just got finessed.
It's a donut. I just made it in 30 seconds.
All right, we'll do this deal after, but it's hidden behind these books.
Do you want change?
It's hidden behind these books so no one can find it. I just figured I'd say
All
that.
right, what's next?
Picture this.
What's
I'm not
next?
paying 50 cents for a picture. I just-
Yeah, I got you.
Just make another one later.
They know by now they're all going, right?
I would think so. I mean, they have the only thing that stands between them is a donut and or a pitch.
No, I got you.
No, here he comes.
You really want to buy it?
Yeah, it's the same.
I thought my donut was gonna make vegan.
That's you get your donut. You get your
vegan.
donut and to eat it too. It's good for you. You pay it and you get to keep it.
Alright. So you already? Here you go.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. For 328, you can get this delicious.
328.
Huh? Yeah, 328. Right. For 328, you can get this delicious chocolatier. But we get this chocolate, it's your chocolate.
He's still going with it.
It's chocolate. For all you teens out there looking for a healthy or for a non-healthy donut breakfast, you got my chocolatier for only $3.28 for your breakfast. Sold at your local corner store.
Local corner store.
Yay.
Thank you. Enjoy your donut.
Yay.
Anybody else? There you go, Sean.
Still with me, man.
Okay. I don't know how this is gonna play out.
Well, please say that first, so that we don't have any expectations at all.
Oh no, because I'm completely winging this. So.
Great. So glad you used all your time to.
What's the problem with Dunkin' Donuts? It's
Nothing.
everywhere.
There's no problem. There's not a single problem.
Come on, Brad.
It's a bad question. I'm winging it, man. Go ahead.
What's the problem with Dunkin' Donuts? It's everywhere. It's generalized, and most of their donuts are probably artificial or got some high for corn tooth corn. So I don't know, something along those lines. Point being, I don't know what it's called, but come get our handcrafted, delicious sprinkled donuts for only $2 at any non-Dunkin' Donuts store.
All right, man. Enjoy that Dunkin' Donuts donut. That's where those came from. Come on, get up there, name the donut, give me a little rhyme.
She has a trail leading to her.
Wait, why did they get out of the tray?
You want to get
Why did they get out of the tray?
I feel like that's just your thing, dropping food in the e-center.
Listen, I'm sorry.
I know.
If you drop it, I'll laugh.
Okay. For just a mere $2.
A mere $2.
A mere $2.
A lot of people don't have $2.
You can press your teeth against this sumptuous, delicious Choco Cocoa Chip donut. I know you want this. I want this.
What the heck?
For just $2, this Choco Cocoa Chip is where it's at. Thank you.
Aw, man, you didn't drop it.
Who's next? Who's next? I'm just sitting here eating blueberries.
It doesn't have to
Me?
Yeah,
I don't even know this.
it doesn't matter. This is low stakes. Just eat a donut. Has anybody said anything of import?
Come to Custom Donuts, where we blindfold you and put ingredients in front of you and you make a donut.
Chill out.
You sound like you're just gonna blindfold me and throw the donut at my
I
face.
just wanted a donut. Why am I gonna get blindfolded?
For just $2, you can make a donut of your own surprise. With any ingredient of your choice on the custom donut.
Nice job.
Blindfolded though?
That's
Honestly, you sounded like you were gonna attack me. Like as soon as I got blindfolded, like you were gonna take the donut and just throw it at me till I realized what was going on.
the drunk glass.
Bro, this donut will cure you from the hardest thing in your life, a breakup. The sprinkles bring magical yum-yumness to your mind. You can buy this at any corner store you want, or it can just show up under your pillow. Thank you.
So you lose your tooth from eating all that sugar.
You get another donut.
Get another donut. Thought I heard that.
Marshmallows.
Are you a fan of Oreos? Well, I got the perfect donut for you. Here's the Oreo Delight, and you can get it at any Dunkin' Donuts near you.
You should be selling donuts. That's the loudest I've heard you.
That was nice.
Great.
My question is when I go to purchase that said donut, is it gonna be like $5 for the donut?
It's not gonna be
You lied to me then. I go there and the donut's not even gonna be there now.
Woo! You're tough.
Saw that commercial from home. I drove all the way to Dunkin'.
For only $2, you can have the creativity of the depression donut. The donut that will
Oh my god.
The donut that will fill your heart with sprinkles of happiness and coconuts for the nuts. I like cocoa cakes, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not done, but
You got what?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not done, but I'm just doing one thing.
Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. Cocaine is pretty good.
For roughly $2, Billy Bob here is going to give you a little dab of good chocolate goodness in your donut. You will be happy and satisfied with M&M's.
M&M's?
He's coming for you, Liam.
I know.
Billy Bob is coming for
Billy
you.
Bob.
Every donut comes with a meme.
No,
No.
you're Billy Bob.
I said Doug Dimmadome. Dimsdale
What the
Dimmadome.
anchor from
It's
Timmy Turner on that?
You
Fairly Odd Parents.
yours sounds like a different version of KFC.
True.
Come to the Donut Shack where we put our heart into this attempt. Just with
Alright.
That was clever.
Jensley, donut time?
M&M Oreo Gonza. This donut puts your mouth into a delicious, square, sweet roller coaster ride. You can never get enough of crunchy toppings of chocolate and frosting for only $2.50 at Home Depot.
Ryan?
Oh, I'm the last one.
I don't know.
No.
No.
Nope.
I think that's the first time someone's volunteered that I'm gonna be the last one.
Jesse, you're funny.
Have you ever ate a donut and felt fat after?
I don't want to.
Well, don't feel bad anymore. At Coco Donut, we sell healthy donuts. We will be selling our donuts in local groceries for just $2. So if you don't want to feel fat anymore, buy our Coco Donut. Thank you.
Alright, Rich, second to last. Second to last.
Oh, I'm not the last.
You're not the last.
There's one
They was bringing us home.
They get one.
Here I present to you the double frosting flip. Not only is this the best donut, it only costs $2.50 and you can get it at any local donut shop.
What makes it the best?
I'll make you flip.
Because it has chocolate and vanilla frosting.
Oh! Yin yang donuts. donuts over there.
It's just to do it, make
All right,
you
Layla.
Come on, give me.
All right.
I'm just trying to finish it up in my head. And this is
All right, everybody, enjoy your donuts.
Nah, I'm waiting for it until I get it.
Oh, you're waiting?
Are you gonna sell it?
No.
I'm
You ready
thinking
to sell
about
the
it. I'm thinking about it.
I ate it.
I'm about to go make a lunch announcement. Anyone buy a donut?
You know, I have a
Well, yeah, this is a really cool exhibition activity, and we can help you with that. We can get you what you need for your group. Usually we'll just put people in groups. We don't buy like 50 donuts for your own, but it's a cool activity to do. And you can show them how you do the math, how you end up.
I don't know if this is gonna taste good.
So while we wrap up, as you enjoy your donuts or sell your donuts or whatever you want to do, EOU and business model slide. Have that done for Monday. Pick a unit of sale and start to look at the very least, I want you to start to look at all the costs that go into what it is that you're making. You don't need to put a price on it yet. I just need you to come in on Monday with all of your costs, because we can figure out the price together. We really don't decide a price until we know what our costs are. So get all of your costs together for what it is that you think you're going to be selling. All right? So that's what I need you to bring in for me. And you can go ahead and try to go ahead and go through that EOU
I feel like
equation.
I'm gonna cry sugar.
Good.
Tears.
I'm good.
For
That was too much.
$2 today, you can get a colorful donut covered in M&M's with a marshmallow filling to make you 3 times more than you ever have. Get M, and M's at your local corner shop.
All right. Woo! Thank you, people.
I got an important question. Can I keep the cup of coconut?
Yeah.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
No. You